Hey everybody, it's Friday Spider Monkey, aka Mitch Germain here, and uh, before I get to my deck profile today, I just wanted to update you guys on a few things in regards to uh, my decks, I guess. Uh, of the uh, of the 8 decks I've recently built uh, last month. Those being my 2 Tyler Sisters decks, my 4 Bastion and Alexis decks, my Vampire deck, and my Jinzo deck. Um, I currently haven't. I've yet to duel with only 2 of them, that being my Vampire deck and my Grace Tyler deck. But the other 6 actually managed to win in their very first duels. So yeah, I'm actually pretty happy as a duelist. Also, my Mokuba deck and my Chesswinston Society of Light deck scored their very first wins yesterday. My Mokuba deck actually got its win back against my brother's Shizu Ishtar deck, so that makes me really happy. Um, uh, this deck profile, though, is let's see, what did my Chaz deck pick yesterday again? Like, I once. Oh yeah, it was my brother's like dinosaur deck, based off Tyranno Hassleberry. So maybe that's an indication that Society of Light Chaz might be stronger than Tyranno Hassleberry. Actually, I actually got to use this my combo of a Light Force Sword, Respect Play, and Spiritual Light Art Hiragi. And with that, I managed to banish his superconductor Tyranno and take control of it. And after that, I equipped it with Mage Power. And I also got, I think, pretty much all of my Phantom Beasts out, so I ended up winning the duel with a combination of Phantom Beast, Rock Lizard, and Superconductor Tyranno equipped with, like, White Veil. And Conductor Tyranno is actually a light monster, so it actually worked like really well because I had my Luminous Spark on the field for pretty much the entire duel. So after my 3,000 attack point, the Rock Lizard that was boosted by not Thunder Pegasus, but Crosswing, I think it was. Yeah, the one that boosts Phantom Beasts. With a combination of that and Luminous Spark, my my Rock Lizard got up to 3,000 attack points, and then my insanely boosted, uh, basically brainwashed the Superconductor Tyranno with like 60, 300 attack points, won the duel for me in a direct attack. After that, we dueled with his Shizu deck against my Dark Scorpion Mokuba deck. And that started out a bit rocky, I would say, because I kind of had to skillfully plaything, so my key monsters wouldn't be destroyed right away. Luckily, I did draw Black Garden in my first hand, and I also drew Cliff and Don Zalug, along with Witch's Apprentice. So I was able to get a pretty good field control in by somehow keeping Witch's Apprentice alive, and then summoning my Dark Scorpions. And one thing I had to do a lot was I had to set my monsters before flipping them to just avoid the negative effects of Blackguard. And yeah, the Dark Scorpions, if they're boosted by Witch's Apprentice and my opponent's monsters are constantly being cut in half by Blackguard, and that could be pretty dangerous, and just attacking um even attacking the boosted rose tokens is pretty viable too with that deck. I did get kind of nervous when he managed to destroy my Witch's Apprentice, so that kind of put me on the back foot a little bit. um, but I did manage to uh, shortly secure a little bit more of an advantage with by drawing a Deathbolt Scout. um, and that managed to save the game long enough for me to actually summon the other Dark Scorpions to my field and actually won the Duel of Dark Scorpion combination. So that was actually really cool. um, so yeah, my Mokuba deck, and my line slash Jazz Society of Light decks are finally on the map as far as victories go. Um, now to move on to my next deck profile, which, as I promised, is my Misty Tredwell deck profile. Uh, opening the deck, we have Misty is actually one of my all-time favorite Yu-Gi-Oh girls, and definitely my favorite 5Ds girl. And I would say after Taro and the rest of Team Taio, she is easily my favorite 5Ds character. To open this deck, also Kirkaranen just does a wonderful job as Misty and Bina. So first we got 3 cards she didn't actually use. Or she didn't use, but yeah, and a lot of the cards that she does use, Konami hasn't printed yet. So, but yeah, we got 3 of my favorite reptilian Naga. Um, this card, for the longest time, back when I started getting into the game, when I started getting back into the game, rather, again, in 2015, 2016, Reptilian Naga was actually one of my favorite monsters. It still is. I really like her effect. It just simulates like um like a snake. In mythology, snakes can petrify people and turn them to stone. Yeah, I kind of think that's kind of how I envisioned her effect looking if she was ever in the anime. Yeah, I have Naga in a few decks, but this is probably her most useful deck. Now we got the Dragon Queen of Tragic Endings. She needs she has a nice 2,600 attack points and actually pretty solid 1,900 attack points. I don't know if I said that wrong, but yeah, she has 2,600 defense points. Um, She requires 3 continuous spell cards to be on the field, or on your side of the field, to summon her, and she can re-summon herself from the graveyard. By destroying a continuous spell card on your field. And when she inflicts battle damage to your opponent has to send 1 card in their hand to the graveyard. So she actually has quite a few useful effects. She can revive herself, and she can if she damages the opponent, she can make them discard a card. So she's kind of sort of like a pseudo boss for this deck, I suppose. She's actually 1 card that Misty did play alongside her tragic story continuous spells, which blocked Akiza basically from summoning or normal summoning any monsters or playing any spells and traps. Yeah, Dragon Quest Tragic Endings is just a really cool card. I'm happy to finally actually have this card in my deck. Shame they don't print the tragic stories. Maybe one day they will. Next card is, I guess you could say, another big boss monster, Reptillianne Vasky. She has 2,600 attack points, but 0 defense points. Vasky's effect is she can't be normal summoned or set, and she can only be special summoned by tributing to face-up monsters with 0 attack from anywhere in the field, which actually works well with Reptillianne Naga's effect. Being able to petrify and basically sap all your opponent's monsters' attack points. Once per turn, with Vasky on the field, you can select and destroy 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. So that's a really nice effect too. With Vasky though, this really doesn't matter much to this deck, but you can only control 1 Vasky on the field. I guess I didn't say it earlier. Naga's effect is she can't be destroyed in battle, which is really nice. And the attack of any monster that battles her is permanently reduced to 0. But she can't be in defense mode during the end phase. She'll just switch automatically to attack mode if she is. So yeah. I have other ways in my other decks to protect her, I guess. But this deck actually doesn't have that protection. But so Naga is a bit actually less viable in this deck, but I still love her. Next is the tuner monster Reptillianne Quattle. She's actually kind of pretty too, actually. She has nice red hair and red eyes, and yeah, she's a tuner. If you control a dark reptile monster, you can special summon her from your hand, and then your opponent. And then if your opponent controls any monster with 0 attack, you can special summon an equal number of reptilian monsters from your hand. Again, really useful with Naga's effect. And if this card would be used as a synchro summon for a reptile monster, you can treat her as a non-tutor. So, which is pretty useful too, just to have that option. 1 reptilian Gorgon, 14. Coatl, if I forgot to say, has 1400 attack, 1000 defense. Gorgon, though, another card Misty actually did use. Sort of like, I would say, a sort of worse version of Naga. If Gorgon attacks a opponent's monster, after damage calculation, the attack of the attack card becomes 0, and it's forbidden from changing battle positions. So her effect is more clearly based on, I guess, petrification. It's a nice card, I guess. Next is 1 reptilian Scylla with 1800 attack and 1200 defense. If Scylla destroys a monster with 0 attack by battle, you can special summon that monster from the graveyard to your side of the field in defense position with its effects negated. So that's also like a really cool card and really useful to set up like either tribute summons or synchro summons, and it works really well in combination with Gorgon and Naga too. 1 reptilian Gardener, 0 attack but 2000 defense points. Probably the only non-dark monster in this deck. I don't know why he's. I mean, I get why he's water, but he could have been dark too, I guess. If he's destroyed and sent to the graveyard while he's on the field, you can add a reptilian monster from your deck to your hand. I was debating more of him in this deck, but I don't know, I think 1 is okay. A card I never really find much use for, especially with the absence of the sad story cards. Reptilian Servant, 100 attack, 100 defense, level 1 dark monster. He's destroyed if there are any face of monsters on the field other than him. Or maybe I should say her, because I think all the reptilians are girls. Yeah, she's also destroyed when she's targeted by the effect of a Spiral Trap card. But while she is on the field, neither player can normal summon a monster. So if you can, like, I don't know, protect her from effects, and if you manage to, like, open with her, I guess, like, you can, like, just lock your opponent out of, like, summoning anything, and just, like, wail away with, like, direct attacks, like Misty did in her second with Akiza. Next card is the tuner monster, Reptilian Lamia. Reminds me of Umgem or Lammy. She's actually kind of pretty, actually. She has 0 attack, 0 defense. She's level 2 tuner. If she's in your hand and all monsters you control are reptile monsters, you can target 1 face monster your opponent controls and change its attack to 0 and then special summon Lamia. I'm obviously too used to like things like WrestleLamia. If you special summon this card, you take damage equal to your opponent's monster's original attack points, which kind of sucks. If this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can target up to 2 monsters on the field and change their attack to 0 too. So yeah. With her effect, It's also a lot easier to summon something like Reptillianne Vasky. Next is Villian Nyamia. Nyami. Yeah. Nyami. Uh, Level 2. She is not a tuner. She has 200 attack points, 0 defense points. During the main phase, if you have a reptile monster in your graveyard, you could send her from your hand to the graveyard. Target monster your opponent controls and change its attack to 0. If your opponent controls a monster with 0 attack, you'd special summon this card from your graveyard. So yeah, another really nice way to like stop your opponent's monsters and get more like tributes or synchro materials on the field. Um, 2 copies of Reptillianne Viper. He has 0 for both. He's a level 2 tuner though. When he's normal summoned, you can select and take control of one face of monster with 0 attack that your opponent controls. So, really easy to go into either tribute summoning or synchro summoning. More so with, I guess, more so synchro summoning. I guess the next card is 2 of Misty's Earthbound Immortal, and my favorite of all the Earthbound Immortals, Earthbound Immortal Kokoraya. It's a it's a level it's a level 10 dark reptile monster. Um, with all Earthbound Immortals, there can only be one on the field, and they're destroyed if there isn't a field spell card on the field. It can't be attacked. It can attack one's life points directly. Kokuraya's unique effect, though, is if Kokuraya is destroyed by card effect, except by its own effect, you can destroy all cards on the field. So the only thing that won't activate its effect, I suppose, is if the field spell is destroyed, I suppose. Yeah, but Kokuraya has a nice, 2,800 attack and also pretty nice 1,800 defense. But yeah, if it's like destroyed by something like, say, like a dark hole or something, yeah, its effects can activate. Uh, 2 copies of the field spell Reptillianne Recoil. Um, Shows a Kokurai's geoglyph on the card and what looks like what actually kind of looks like Misty herself on the card. With Reptillianne Recoil, you can target one monster you can do 0 attack and 1 dark reptile in your graveyard. You can destroy the monster on the field and then summon that monster from the graveyard. If your opponent activates a monster effect, uh, you can target one monster your opponent controls with 0 attack and take control of it, and then special summon a reptilian token with a level 1 0 attack 0 defense to your opponent's field. I guess originally I thought you could use its effect to you can use its effect to destroy Kokuraya if you wanted to, but Kokuraya doesn't meet its conditions because it has more than 0 attack points. Yeah. But yeah, Return Recoil is pretty useful. It allows you to take control of your opponent's monster. just really cool artwork too, honestly. In the anime, Misty used Savage Coliseum, which forced monsters to attack. In her second with Akiza, she used like something like she used like this crystal like dome thing. Hold on, I'll look it up right now. Yeah, her field spell was called Mirror Labyrinth, and she played it actually when Akiza and her were dueling in like a hall of mirrors at like this broken down, like dilapidated like carnival, which was actually pretty cool. And it let her level 4 and lower monsters and make 2 attacks per turn. So that actually works really well for deck, and I kind of wish we could have gotten that card. Maybe we can still someday, but yeah, she used that with Reptilian Servant when Akiza just flat out couldn't summon anything, so it's a really good strategy. The next card is one Reptilian Poison. Activate when you control face a reptilian monster. You can change a defense position monster your opponent controls to attack position, and lower its attack to 0. It's not a continuous spell like most cards in this deck. Oh, yeah, I should mention I have 2 copies. Uh, 2 copies of Shard of Greed. It's not always a continuous spell, but it helps with drawing cards too. Put a few of. I did like, I don't know, take some liberties with the continuous spells in this deck just to add some of my own flavor, such as 2 copies of Toll. Each time player wants to attack, they have to pay 500 points. In the video game Legacy of the Duelist, Misty uses a card called a Spell Absorption, which gives her 500 extra life points per every time a spell card is activated. That card is like really expensive though, so I decided to just take my chances without it. That might be a mistake, but uh, 1 copy of Chain Energy. Uh, Anytime a card is played, it costs 500 points per card. This deck is actually like very inspired by a deck I have in Legacy of the Duelist. I just call it. Its name is like Pay the Toll, and it's very heavily themed around cards like Chain Energy, Fatal Abacus, Toll. Uh, Card we'll be seeing later in this deck, like Skull Invitation. Cards like Coffin Seller. 1 copy of Card Trader. You can exchange the card you drew once per turn and make another draw, and also shuffle your deck. uh, an Equip card, Reptillian Rage. I think Misty actually equipped this to her Dragon Queen. Gives a reptile monster 800 attack points, and when this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can select a monster your opponent controls and it loses 800 attack points. 1 copy of Reptilian Ramifications. You see It's either Nyami or Lamia here. What this card does is you can send it from your hand to the graveyard and activate 2 of these effects in sequence. First effect is add 1 reptilian monster from your deck to your hand. Second effect is add 1 reptilian spell or trap from your deck to your hand. Last effect is you can change the attack of 1 monster your opponent controls to 0. So once again, very helpful with something like Reptilian Vasky, especially. I only have one of those, so its restrictions of like once per turn really don't matter to this deck. One copy of Reptilian Spawn. You see a Reptilian Gorgon in the backer. You can banish 1 reptilian monster from your graveyard and special summon 2 reptilian tokens, level 1, attack and defense 0. Earth, which is kind of weird. Another card I really enjoy in my deck on Legacy of the Duelist. 1 Gravekeeper Servant. Unless your opponent sends 1 card from the top of his or her deck to the graveyard, he or she can't attack. One copy of Swords of Concealing Light. Misty uses this card in Legacy of the Duelist, actually. Another continuous spell. When it resolves, all monsters your opponent controls, when this card is activated, are changed to face-down defense position, and monsters your opponent controls cannot change their battle positions. This card remains on the field for your next 2 standby phases. So sort of like the anti-Swords of Revealing Light. That card can also work really well for Reptilian Servant. 1 copy of another continuous spell. Surprise. Attack Pheromones. This card can, if a monster you control attacks a defense position monster, you can change that attack target to attack position at the end of the damage step. If your attacking monster is a reptile type, this deck doesn't have any problems with that because everything in this deck's a reptile. I want to say Misty actually did use attack pheromones too. Same with this card. Advanced Force. You contribute 1 level 5 or higher monster. Contribute someone at level 7 or higher monster. So, I don't know if you want to tribute, say, like, Vasky for, like, Kokoraya, and if you have the field spell out. The last few cards, last 4 cards in the main deck are 1 War of the Earthbound. I just put it here because it has Kokoraya on it, honestly. Once per turn, when your opponent declares an attack, if the attack of the attacking monster is lower than that of a face of Earthbound Immortal you control, get rid of this again. I lost myself somewhere along the way. Once per turn, when your opponent's monster declares an attack, if the attack of the attacking monster is lower than that of a face of Earthbound Immortal you control, destroy the attacking monster and inflict damage to your opponent equal to half the attack of the destroyed monster's attack. Okay, that's actually a really nice card. I was confused because Earthbound Immortals can't be attacked. So yeah, just if you control enough from immortal and your opponent attacks anything you have with a weaker monster, you can just destroy that monster on sight once per turn and just damage them. Also, it could actually steal games in some way, I feel. One copy of the Continuous Trap, Serpent Suppression. With Serpent Suppression, face of monsters in attack position with 0 attack that your opponent controls cannot be destroyed by battle with reptilian monsters. I guess I would mostly use this card since your opponent's monsters can't be destroyed now and they have 0 attack. I would just continuously just wail on them with powerful monsters. One copy of Pinpoint Guard, and last card in the deck is a card to sort of mimic a trap card that Misty used called Doomgazer. Doomgazer was a card that she activated. She had chained to a Kokorai's effect. So when Kokoraya destroyed all cards on the field during her last duel with Akiza, she used Doomgazer to inflict. It was 300 points per destroyed card, since there were 7 cards that would be destroyed by Kokorai's effect. I have just a card that basically does the exact same thing. Skull Invitation, except it's a permanent trap card instead of a counter trap. The difference is, since this card is permanent, it's not a one-time thing, and every time a card is sent to the graveyard, inflict friend points of direct damage to the owner's life points per card. So it's a bit riskier than something like Doomgazer's effect, but it still combos, I'd say, pretty nicely with Kokorai's effect. Given that damages you, too. It's a bit riskier. Now onto the 5-card extra deck. First card is the 2100 attack Reptilian Hydra. This card is a level 6 reptile synchro monster. If this card is synchro summoned, you can destroy as many monsters your opponent controls 0 attack as possible, and then draw 1 card for each monster destroyed. Hydra has 2100 attack points, so I don't know, she could combo really well with cards like Reptilian Naga and Reptilian Gorgon, and equip her with Reptilian Rage, and she can actually be really strong. And she also helps with drawing cards, so that's always nice. Next card is honestly a card I consider just really beautiful. Reptilian Malucine. She kind of looks like a vampire in a way, with her these black wings and pale skin. She has 2800 defense, 2500 attack. She is a level 8 tutor, or level 8 synchro monster. If she is special summon, if she's synchro summon using only reptile monsters, which is no problem for this deck, she can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, so that's really nice. Once per chain, when your opponent activates a monster effect, except during damage step, you can target one face monster your opponent controls and change its deck to 0. So again, there's a lot more that effect going off. So like if you want, like, yeah, you can like just like beat your opponent down with like this powerful monster when they can't fight back. Especially with regard like serpent suppression and stick. If this single summon card, you can draw sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card. Um, you can add one reptile monster from your deck to your hand. So if she like if your opponent somehow destroys it, like you can easily go into something like Vasky, Dragon Queen, or Kokoraya if you want. Yeah, she's a really like strong monster, and I consider her like another boss of this deck in a way. Plus, like her almost vampire aesthetic like really speaks to me, and she's like really gorgeous too. Speaking of another gorgeous looking, almost vampire-esque monster, reptilianne echidna. She's a link 2. She has 200 attack points. Um, she takes 2 monsters, including 1 reptile monster, which is no issue. If she is link summoned, you can target one face monster your opponent controls, change its deck to 0. During your main phase, if your opponent controls monster with 0 attack, you can add reptile monsters with different names from your deck to your hand up to the number of monsters your opponent controls with 0 attack. So another pretty nice effect to search your reptiles. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from your extra deck for the rest of this turn, the turn you activate this effect, except reptile monsters, so again, no issue. You can only use a Echidna's effect once per turn. So yeah, that was my. Echidna is also a pretty useful card if you can use her right. Yeah, Misty, again, one of my favorite EVO 5D's characters. I just love character runs like performance as her. Um, I have yet to actually use this deck in a duel, but like when I do, I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun. I've always wanted to build like a dedicated like reptilianne / like Misty Tredwell deck. It's kind of a shame she never came back in the 5D's anime, and that she wasn't in the manga at all. So yeah, Misty's kind of like character with just like kind of like a missed opportunity to me in a way. Like she could have done like a lot more other than just do Akiza like twice. I would have honestly loved to see like Jack and Akiza like for their duel like tag duel against Carly and Misty. I think that would have been like really fun. Like a turbo like tag duel. So yeah. So that's gonna do it for my 45 card Misty Treadwell deck. I'm really hoping the stick is fun to use. I'm betting it will be. I have a lot of experience actually recently with the reptilianne deck. So yeah, that's gonna do it for me. Next deck profile I'll bring you guys is my new Pegasus themed Toon deck. So look forward to that. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say, so I guess I'll catch you later. Bye.